Good morning and welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. A little different look and a little different feel today. How about we bring some calmness to your life? I love that idea. I got a dog right here. I'm going to show you right away, right off the bat. Look at how real we are. Who is this? No, I don't have a fourth dog in my family, although I would love one. Hi. We're going to play today. I am with Nala. Nala and I are going to play while we're doing this show. We're going to be as real can be. Isn't she adorable? We're going to introduce you to her owner, Dr. Alethea Eller, coming up for you in about 10 minutes. We're going to do some weather. We're going to do some news you can use, a little sports news, and a trending story out of the country music world that's going to shock you, freak you out a little bit maybe, or just applaud him for what he did. All of that coming up for you. Now, we don't have our aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore live this morning. You know, last week we were talking about he had some internet issues and still struggling with that this morning. You know, technology tries to hold us down, but he found a way around it. So we do have your weather today in our What the Weather segment.
Alrighty, welcome back into this new more weather forecast video. This one has been looking significant for a couple of days. So
good morning to you.
Good morning, Monica.
Finally.
Nice to be here.
Good morning, everybody. Our first autumn cold front came through yesterday, and you're going to really feel it as you head out the door this morning with high around 60 today and tomorrow. However, our temperatures are going to rebound as we head towards Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, getting back into the low 70s, around average for this time of the year. We're also going to have that sunshine persisting throughout the week, so you want to make sure to keep watering those plants, but also think about bringing them in or covering them at night, as our first frost of the season is expected Wednesday morning with the coldest air in St. Louis since April 21st.
All right. Did you feel it this morning when you walked out? I did a little bit, not too chilly, but boy, we're talking about frost already. We're talking about covering the plants. We've got this beautiful life behind us. So sometimes you have to move those gorgeous plants inside. I was sad to see our palm trees get picked up, but you know what? It's that time of the year in October. If you don't know, there is an incredible company called Florida Direct Palm Trees that you buy the palm trees, but they actually take care of them for you, unless you can bring them inside. Ours are pretty tall, so we'd have to have taller ceilings to bring them in. But yes, you can have that kind of life inside palm trees. Otherwise, they pick them up in October. They drop them back off in May. And I just love that. So shout out to Greg and Lori Wick from Florida Direct Palm Trees. Thank you for picking those up for us. And thank you to Beckett. If you are just new to the show, he is our aspiring meteorologist and does an incredible job. So thank you, Beckett. We hope to have you back live with us on Friday. All right, let's talk about some news. If you were stuck for 8 hours on westbound 44 and wondered what in the world was going on, it was closed near Six Flags for a fatal crash involving a wrong-way driver. In fact, it didn't open up until 1:30 this morning. So one lane of eastbound traffic was also blocked. Obviously, they continued the investigation onto the eastbound side, but the westbound lanes, as I mentioned, for about 8 hours of Interstate 44 near Six Flags. It actually happened right before 6 p.m., according to MoDOT, and the investigation continued at that point, kept the highway closed for 8 hours. Multiple ambulances were at the scene of the crash. A semi-truck was also just off of the roadway. Missouri State Highway Patrol said the crash involved at least one pickup truck, one semi-trailer, and one passenger car. So our thoughts and our prayers going out to any families involved in that. All right, this one might create some controversy, but it is in the news, so I wanted to pass it along. Some saying that COVID-19 may raise the heart attack and the stroke risk. That's according to a recent study. Now, many of you probably talk about many dangers from the actual disease itself. Many people talking about the actual vaccination that they got over the last 4 years or boosters. You can take this however you want to. It's not my place to get into an argument with you. I'm just passing along some news. Many dangers, according to CNN, of COVID-19 posing a person having a risk to heart disease, significant impacts on the heart, and brain health for years after an infection. Back in 2020, before the vaccines were available, people who caught COVID-19 had twice the risk of a major cardiovascular problem like heart attack or stroke as those who did not test positive. This is according to a new study, and this is a quote. What was also surprising is that the extent of that risk did not show any sign of diminishing or attenuation with time. That's according to one doctor in the study. He's the co-senior study author and said those risks in medical studies stayed up to 3 years after the infection, and those who had to be hospitalized with severe illness from the virus were at an even greater risk for heart problems. There's much more to that if you want to look it up. I just dropped some things in for you to go, things that make you go, right? How about The Hill? Let's get into some happier news. The Hill celebrated yesterday a festival and a parade. It was the 157th. Now, I have never had a chance to go to this. Did you? It was a beautiful day for it. I mean, really anything. We volunteered yesterday. We were outside and inside. We had a chance, speaking of Italian, to be with the wonderful owners of Trattoria Giuseppe. And let me just show you all of the people that were there yesterday behind the scenes. Now, there were about 300 that were served, but thank you to Giuseppe and Grace Presevento. They are the owners of Trattoria Giuseppe. You see them right there in the middle, and then all of the staff that had a chance to volunteer, some good friends from over the years that wanted to volunteer as well. All of us serving from about 12 until 5, all of you that came in to raise money for who? Responder Rescue, an incredible organization, very near and dear to my heart, being the wife of a lieutenant with the St. Louis County Police. We thank you for everything Responder Rescue does. And to all of you that came out, can't wait to see how much money was raised. 2 years ago, it was $5,000. Last year, $6,000. Let's see just how much we had a chance to raise this year. So once we get that announcement, I'll, of course, pass that along to you. I don't have a slide for this, but I just want to tell you that tomorrow, Chesterfield Mall, it's so crazy to think of all the memories you've had with Chesterfield Mall over the years. It is going to come tumbling down. They are taking down Chesterfield Mall, making way for a mixed-use development. There'll still be some retail, but just not in the mall aspect. Retail and other things. And we'll be, of course, following that as the development gets underway. But tomorrow, and you want to drop in any comments about your favorite memories of Chesterfield Mall over the years, go ahead and do so. But that is coming down. Now, this is the story that is trending this morning. How crazy is this? Country music star, hopefully you recognize him, Brantley Gilbert. He had to interrupt his own concert after his wife went into labor with their third child, seemingly on the tour bus. Shortly after starting his concert Friday night, Brantley was called away for, quote, an emergency backstage. According to a video that was posted to the Bottoms Up singer's social media pages, it showed him leaving the venue. And as it turns out, his wife, Amber, was giving birth to the couple's third child, seemingly on the singer's tour bus. The newborn and his parents can be seen in a photo throughout the video if you want to look this one up. Also in the video, by the way, Brantley briefly calls his mother to tell her she has a new grandbaby, and guess who delivered the... He did. He then tells her he had to go because he has a concert to finish and he'd call her back later. That just makes me laugh. And that's really a talker. And, when I bring my guest on, I'm going to see what she thinks about that. It's nuts. I told you that tomorrow Chesterfield Mall is coming down. Also, let's welcome them home. The St. Louis Blues for their home opener. They are playing the Minnesota Wild tomorrow. The puck will drop at 6:30. Are you ready for the Blues? Let's go Blues. And congrats to Mizzou moving up after Saturday's win. 8 SEC schools are ranked. They actually now are ranked in the top 25. They are at number 19. MIZ.
COU.
There it is. Who's that voice in the background? Come on, Tia. How did you not know that? Tia is on my team. She's too young for this, evidently. She's like, no, I don't want to do it. I didn't go to Mizzou, but you can give us some Missouri pride. The voice you heard answer my MIZ is who my guest is going to be, Dr. Alethea Eller. We're going to talk about a kind of a continuation of what we discussed in past episodes. But and I thought this was really interesting when she and I went to lunch. If you looked at the title, you may have thought that I was doing an Eastern versus Western, as if one side is right and one side is wrong. It's not that. You've always heard me say Eastern and Western. I think there should be a beautiful marriage between the two. That's my thoughts. I'm going to see what you think, and do me a favor and drop any questions, any comments throughout the show on any of our platforms. And I'm excited that we are on location today because we're actually able to bring more to you instead of just Facebook and YouTube and X, like when we're in studio. We also have Rumble and Instagram added this morning. So feel free to say hi, good morning. Let us know where you're watching from. But let's get into it. We have Dr. Alethea Alethea Eller joining me. And let's see, we usually say in the blue chair, but I'm on the green couch. So she's going to join me in just a second. Welcome to the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams show at my favorite restaurant. There's something about a coffee house that's just very warm and welcoming.
Gives you that sense of community.
What are you most proud of since you've opened it?
I cry easily. I'm thankful for everybody here.
You opened the door during the middle of the pandemic. You got the best Italian restaurant in the United States. Here in St. Louis, you put us on the map. Does it scare you? You go through fear?
Terrifying.
So how do you get past the fear?
We find something to laugh about.
And who's that goofball in the background? That was Michelle, who, by the way, is in Sicily, and we're going to be checking in with her in Italy coming up in just a couple of days. You also saw that beautiful woman, Marianne Graff, who is now Marianne Clark, the owner of Just Be Kind Cafe, who hosted us for our 300th show. She got married. And thank you for inviting Jim and myself to your wedding. Congratulations to you and Patrick. A lot happened this past weekend. It was a gorgeous weekend for sure. Speaking of gorgeous, look at this stunning lady that I have right next to me. We are welcomed into her space, which is very, very calm. This is Dr. Alethea Eller, and she's going to join me today from her place, or I should say I'm joining you.
Welcome to my place.
Thank you. So we have a mutual friend who's actually up early, which is shocking that Janice is up before 8 a.m.
What an honor.
All right.
What an honor. This is huge.
Janice, we want to thank you for introducing the two of us. Can we just talk about how kismic this is? So she wanted to introduce us probably a year or 2 years ago. But it's all in God's timing. That's my belief, right when it's supposed to happen. I have a friend who came in from Las Vegas, and it's funny now to come to your place and realize just how far off he was off course. When I came here, I'm like, oh, he really went past the train tracks. Yeah. We're in Webster Groves, by the way. And my friend Todd all of a sudden was talking to me on the phone, and he's like, I got lost. And I said, okay. And he goes, well, you were the traffic girl. You can get me out of here. And I said, where are you? And he said he was on North Gore. And I said, okay. And then he goes, hey, do you know blah, blah, blah place, which isn't even your place, but it had like health or wellness in the title. And I said, no. And so we're always looking for new sponsors and new mobile Monicas, things like that. And so he said, oh, well, hold on. There's a lady out here. Now you take it from there because it wasn't even your place.
No, I had just planted flowers that weekend before, and I was heading out after a long day with patients. And as I was pulling away, I thought, oh, gosh, this really needed to be watered.
They need attention.
So I circled back around, looped around, got the hose out, and almost got hit by your friend.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Pulling into the
way to go,
parking
Todd. And he says to you, hey, do you know Monica Adams?
Right. And it was so interesting. She's on the phone. He said, I'm on the phone with her. And I said, oh my gosh. And I think he put you on speaker at that time. I said, yes. Monica, we have a mutual friend who's been trying to get to meet. And
it's not at all what he was expecting her to go, oh my gosh, Monica. Yeah, I want to talk to Monica from like TV days. And she was like, no, wait, we have a friend. And I'm like, what's your name? And she's like, Alethea. And I go, are you kidding? I mean, my mind just went right and blew up like, you've got to be. This is the craziest thing.
So at that point, Tad was kind of like out of the picture,
and you and I started
talking. We're talking and lined up lunch, which we just did. Yep. And it was wonderful.
And you were laughing because you said your dog was hanging out the window. Nala, who I showed at the beginning of the show, so go back and watch that.
She always makes an appearance.
She's so sweet now. Now she's very calm, and now she's like, "Thank you, Mom, for letting me play with my new friends this morning." So Tia is here with me, Tia Tricamo, part of our team, and she will be turning some beautiful social media stories for you. But let's take you through why we wanted to join forces today. So, you actually told me, and I think it's really important to think about this, that if you see Eastern versus Western, it's kind of like a game. We're going to go see a football game, a soccer game. It's like one against the other, and somebody's going to lose and someone's going to win. I started thinking about that after our lunch. It just got chill. I started thinking about that after our lunch and thought, yeah, I've never wanted that to be the case because we're all winning in life when we have wellness, right? You and I would agree on that. But it is, how do we get that beautiful marriage to take place between the two? And that's what we're going to talk about today. But let's show you your space. So you opened here in Webster how long ago?
I've been in Webster Groves for 11 years. I just created this space a year ago.
Okay, and you were in Chesterfield before that?
I was in Chesterfield in a Chinese medicine immersion for a couple of years, and then I was in the South County area for about 10 years before that.
And so we're going to go back because you have your background. You were a chiropractor, but you also felt this calling to take you to where you are now. So from a chiropractic standpoint, how long did you practice chiropractic alone?
Yes. So I always had a very holistic model in my chiropractic as well. So when I left chiropractic school, it was with some clinical nutrition certification as well and an acupuncturist as well. So it always started more holistic. I evolved through a series of events. You follow your passion and doors open. I fell into functional medicine more through when my youngest, who's now in college, had.
She doesn't look old enough to have a kid in college, does she?
Yeah, he had full body eczema as a baby.
Yes.
And the common Western approach for that wasn't necessarily to isolate a cause for it, which as the mama, I was like, just tell me what's wrong so I can fix it. And they were offering symptomatic relief with topical cortisone and oral cortisone, which of course at a certain discomfort, I mean, you may want to entertain that. I was really seeking what's causing it so I can help my baby heal.
Right.
And I fell into a functional medicine and Chinese medicine practice for that solution, who ended up being my mentor. And I ended up doing that immersion with that practitioner for several years. So he was able to isolate that my son was reacting to a food, to dairy at that time. And he helped me cleanse his body. He can now handle dairy with no eczema. His eczema all went away. And that was the solution that was right for me and my heart and what I was looking for. And I fell in love with that treatment. Of course.
Yeah. Well, why not? I mean, that's the thing. And again, we're stressing this. There is a need for both Western and Eastern. So, but you also have to dig deep into your soul to say, am I going to take this diagnosis and take this medicine and just hope it gets okay? And if it's not, I guess I'm just going to have to believe that I'm okay because that doctor told me I was okay. The most frustrating thing is that we know our bodies more than anyone. We know we feel off. Something's not right. But everybody, and this is the most frustrating part that I have always seen, that you're told you're okay. You're told nothing's wrong with you. Yet you go home, slouch down, body language, defeating attitude of, but I swear something's wrong with me. So why wouldn't you keep seeking something else out? And that's why I love the fact that there are other pathways. Tell everybody the name of your business. And I'll put a contact up here.
Sure, Dr. Alethea. Alethea, easy. And you can find me on all the socials, and I put a lot of content out there for education for the community on a regular basis.
And it's you, and then who's this beautiful lady?
So there are two other practitioners in my office, right? So you're seeing Christy. Yes. She doubles as my office manager, and she's also a Reiki practitioner. And then Danae, who does massage and also pranic healing.
I love it. All right. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Dr. Alethea. So let's just break through some of these things. I went through a really incredible video that you have on your dralethea.com website. Watch the whole thing. It was very well done. Very well done. Instead of the video, we're going to take some slides from this. So traditional medicine. Again, a lot of people feel like a Band-Aid is just put on something and it's never to the root cause. And one of the things that we've talked about on past shows when we have done the look at Western, Eastern medicine is too often it is, you're coming into my office from a Western side, or we're going to give you this medicine, or this is the problem that we see, but not what is the underlying problem behind it. So let's break it down in a different way. And with you, with what you're doing now, this immersion of it, what do you see that might be flawed a little bit in that mentality?
Absolutely. So first, I just want to send a big gratitude and thank you to my patient who created that video.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, watch it, by the way.
She's an artist and she created art along my dialogue. And she did such an amazing job.
She did an incredible job.
Yes. So Megan, thank you. So one of the ways that I look at this is that I look at this as the evolution of illness, that we don't just all of a sudden one day get breast cancer, right? We don't just all of a sudden one day get lupus, that this is an evolution or a process in the body. Now, if we look at complete health and wellness over here, and then this diagnosis of disease over here, our typical Western model or allopathic care operates more in this latter 1/3. It's their sweet spot. When we're that dysregulated and our cells have lost the ability to bring themselves back into homeostasis, that really is the most appropriate place. We need some rescue, right? We need some rescue. We need some cortisone. Right? We need possible chemotherapy to get those tumor cells, right? So this is where I say it's in the patient's best interest to not polarize the different therapies and modalities out there, because there really is, if you broke your leg, you might want more than acupuncture.
Yes, please take the pain away.
Reset the bone. And, right, so there's that appropriate.
But you know what? But it's interesting, and I think this is where you'll all get the aha moment. Is yes, if I broke my leg, my first thought is I'm going to go to the hospital. Yes. Okay, but while I'm going through my healing, this is where I would want to go. Right?
Absolutely. Okay. So that whole phase before Western medicine, where I have a disease, I have something acute, is really more of the sweet spot for functional medicine or lifestyle modalities like supplementation, moving your body, increasing your nourishment patterns through what you're eating. This middle phase is where cells are struggling. Right. You may not have a disease diagnosis yet, but everyone in this middle phase knows that there is something not right.
Right.
Now, our common labs in our Western medicine they're looking for disease. Yep. So they miss things here. And that's why I love functional medicine, is because we specialize in catching where the body is out of optimal function. The goal is that you don't end up in a disease state, but it can also support someone who may already be at that end stage disease state and help restore their body back to a state of higher homeostasis.
Right. Well, and it's interesting. I started off the news this morning and I was talking about how it is stressors in our life and how so many things are changing in our world, and people are wondering, well, what's the cause of it? And all of a sudden it is, you've got stress. And what can stress lead to? So many levels of things. I know you've heard before. If you're just tuning in, let me introduce my guest again, Dr. Alethea Eller. Stress can bring on, this will probably blow some of your minds because you might be like, there's no way. Cancer, so many other diseases, all can be linked back to the fact that there's so much stress in your life. Right?
Absolutely. And I think what that does is that brings you to that first tier of what takes us away from health and vitality and cellular homeostasis is a lot of times that stress response. Now, we have more technical words for this now in the clinical world, like we look at this as somatic therapies or mind-body medicine. We look at more of how consciously are we consuming our nutrients, who are we choosing to hang out with, our environment really cultivates or harms us in this way, right? So that first phase away from health is often called bioenergy, because these emotions and these thoughts in our environment really affect us in our bioenergetic level. This is where I say the sweet spot for Chinese medicine is, because it is a modality that has an expertise in moving bioenergy.
So I showed a slide earlier, and I think this is important for you and I. We connect so much on this. I life coach, I personal train. I've done a lot of nutrition work. It is truly, if we think of bloating, gut, digestive health, first of all, people are not feeling their best self. We want them to feel, obviously walking out the door, oh my gosh, I feel on fire. I just am ready to take on the world. But if you are feeling off, well, then it's coming back. And what's causing that? Inflammation in the body. If we look at that, and I know you do a lot of work with that, you can look at someone and say, you're inflamed. And they'll be like, how do you know? Well, we can tell. You can tell in skin. You can tell in eyes. You can tell in their body language. You can tell in the rise and the fall of how they're breathing, all of those things. But
I always preface it like this, though. You're inflamed. Don't worry. No one else can tell.
Except for her.
No one else is going to notice. But girl, you're inflamed.
Yeah, right? But tell them. So I was mentioning nutrition. You mentioned supplementation. Nutrition is so key. And I know you all sit there and go, all right, fine. But you hear it over and over again, yet the patterns don't change. And you expect to feel your best. Tell them, if they have inflammation in their body, what it could all lead to.
Oh my goodness.
Right? That's
oh
a
my
huge,
goodness. So,
huge question.
Yeah. So chronic inflammation is one of the things that takes Americans down. All of your heart disease. So almost everything cardiovascular related. In fact, the news story that you highlighted about COVID being related to heart disease, that's through an inflammatory vascular process. And there are blood markers that we're using to monitor if somebody has been put at risk for this. So that's not a surprise for them.
Right.
That's done in more of the functional medicine world. Unfortunately, allopathic medicine doesn't know what to do with inflammation very much because they're not doing the lifestyle things that actually take it down. So inflammation, fatigue is one of the biggest things. If you feel like you have a slow metabolism, you usually have inflammatory players. A lot of times because of the fatigue, there will be excessive food cravings because you're trying to get some energy at the cellular level. When the cells are bogged down from inflammation, they're tired. Oftentimes sleep is not a high quality. So even though you may get ample hours of sleep, you're waking up and you're not feeling rested. It definitely affects mood. Definitely affects mood. You're going to be more irritable. You're going to be more short. And if there's one thing that I could if everyone could know is how your food really affects you. And there is no one size fits all. So this takes some experimentation. I love, in the winter, in January, I will do another round of my Uninflamed program, which is a free program to the public. So if you're following me, you'll get that because I'm so passionate about everyone having a handle of this information where I walk people through an uninflamed elimination program, essentially where we're stripping out all of the inflammation foods and we're putting them in one by one so that you know what foods build you up and what foods are actually tearing you down.
You will love this, and I don't need to give props to the name of the program, so I won't give you the name. You can reach out to me and reach out to Dr. Alethea if you want more on what she does and what I do. But there was a program I used to do with my clients, and it would take them through about 3 weeks on a minimum, 7 weeks more on a maximum, and it would slowly reintroduce one thing at a time that was pulled out instead of what a lot of you do, which is, I'm on a diet. Okay, I'm going to do this for a couple of weeks, and then I'm just going to go hog wild and just throw everything back in and wonder what the heck is wrong.
Right. Their
how are you gonna
first
know?
day, they're at emos. They're feeling so deprived. You have to save energy for reintroduction phase. Otherwise, it's there's something I'm eating that irritates me, but you don't know what it is. And so the point is that you're not living forever on an elimination program, but that you have a higher awareness of how foods are affecting you. And then, sometimes my body doesn't love gluten and dairy, but my mouth loves pizza.
Give me that pizza. Give me that cheese all over the pizza. Can you give me more cheese?
Right. So sometimes I'm doing it because to me that is a balanced lifestyle, and you will have functional medicines, especially practitioners, have very different thoughts on this. Some people are more strict with this, but I believe in balance.
I do too.
Right? And we can protect ourselves when we know we're going to have something a little bit more inflammatory, and there's some things we can do the next day to help clean things up. But balance is key too. This food and life is meant to be enjoyed, and it's such a part of social connections that it's not great to be eliminating all the time and strict and pulling out more and more foods. We are not meant to live like that, and that is not healing.
Well, and you just talked about balance, and I'm showing a couple slides here, again, in an incredible video that you can see on Dr. Alethea's website, TheRealMonicaAdams, and it goes back and forth between the wellness, the illness, the middle part, the third part. Where do we want to be? Well, obviously we want to be on the wellness side. We're going to talk more about this. Don't you love her already? DrAlethea.com. I'm going to put that up on the screen before we take our break. And we're going to talk more about this beautiful marriage that can take place. But really, the biggest thing I want to get across to you always, whenever we do our Medical Mondays, is if you feel off, then keep digging and don't just settle for what one person said to you. Remember, you are finding the doctor that works with you or the practitioner that works with you. So there's her email, hello@dralethea.com. Phone number 314-219-1888. And up top on the right, you see dralethea.com. So if you need help deciding which type of care is best for you or are ready to schedule your first appointment, call her office to get started. More with Dr. Alethea when we return.
We're at the Vault Luxury Resale in Brentwood. And I think this is going to be a very dangerous shoot, Diana.
It'll be
She says it
fabulous.
is.
We do costume jewelry. It's everything women want. You know, sometimes I want to grab a Kendra Scott earring or just a fun, untrend earring, but other times I want David Yurman, John Hardy, Tiffany. So we also have that.
Some beautiful costume jewelry, some really gorgeous high-end jewelry.
Yes. We have phenomenal cowboy boots. We have, you know, Paige, Mother, all designer denim.
Luxury resale, not at the luxury price.
We, you know, have every kind of high-end handbag and everything from Bottega, Louis Vuitton, tons of Gucci, Chanel. We not only deal with people in St. Louis, we deal with, you know, a lot of people in New York, celebrities in New York, Nashville, Beverly Hills.
Monica or Mez Adams. How's that
Yes,
sound?
that sounds great.
All right, one more designer area.
Look at these. These are Chanel, Jimmy Choo, Prada, Gucci. We have everything from Steve Madden boots to Chanel boots.
They're going to love what you come back with.
Yes.
We're at the Vault Luxury Resale in Brentwood, and I think this is going to be a very dangerous shoot, Diana.
It'll be
She says it
fabulous.
is.
By the way, we will be at the Vault in November for yet another big fashion show. Can't wait for that. You see that beautiful door? Behind that is this place. When we're talking about calmness and peace and just someone who wants the best for you, it's Elemental Aesthetics, 425 North Dallas, and Performance Plus. Come with us every other Wednesday, one of our big sponsors. She has provided so much to the world for a long time. She's been an esthetician since 2001, but when she wanted to open up her practice in Creve Coeur, she wanted to do things for you on many levels. I went in and had this incredible facial, just relaxed. A lot of you go in and say, well, I don't even know what to schedule or what to set up. Actually, once you come in, wear it all. Take the makeup off and let her feel the skin. She will then say, well, this is what we can do together. There's also, which Dr. Alethea will love, there's a bed there that they have that helps people that have ADD and ADHD. And at the top of the news, I talked about how 1 in 4 Americans are self-diagnosing that they have ADHD, but they're self-diagnosing and then they're finding pills and things that they want for themselves because they're saying that's what they have. It's interesting. That came in the news, like I said, this morning. They also have lasers. They've got IPL, which we've talked about. And there's a treatment called Agnes that Michelle, our executive assistant with the Real Monica Adams team, she just recently went through. She's going to talk about that in just a couple of weeks. I can't wait to experience this room. This is the salt room. Not only does it look gorgeous, but they pump in salt. And what does that do for eczema, rosacea, things like that? How about red light therapy? But there's Jennifer. It's not just red light therapy. It's also blue, purple. There's so many levels of things. So overall health at Elemental Aesthetics. Again, 425 North New Dallas. Elemental Aesthetics. Thank you so much to Jennifer Warman-Plus for being part of our show. Welcome back. It is 7:33 and we're visiting with, do you hear the tip, tip, tip in the background? That's Nala, who I showed at the beginning of the show. She might come back again. That is your golden doodle, but she's adorable. First of all dogs. You know, I'm a huge animal lover. She's full grown and she's tinier though. She's not one of these massive doodles.
Mini golden.
She's a mini, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's cute.
Mm-hmm.
And Nala, I said, is it from Lion King? And she said, yes. A friend? Did you say our family member?
My
Held her
sister.
Sister.
She was unnamed for days because my 3 teenagers and myself, we made a pact that we would agree on a name, which left us nameless for almost a week.
Until this happened.
Until she was held up and then somebody said, Nala. Actually, she was held up with the song.
Right? She's like, I hear that a lot, folks. Isn't she cute? Look, we love animals. Let me just give a little shout out to Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue really quick. They have the big gala coming up on Saturday at Whitmore Country Club, and I hope we raise some huge money for Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. Tons of silent and live auction items. I am thrilled and honored to do the emceeing and the auctioneering. There's an animal communicator that will be there.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's kind of crazy and fascinating all at once. But yeah, she's going to be there. Welcome back, by the way. We've been talking about this beautiful marriage of Eastern and Western culture medicine. Don't eat the microphone cord, Nala.
Mm-mm.
That happened live when I was on TV. This is when I was on Channel 5. My dog just started playing with the cord, and I suddenly was not on the air anymore. It's real. I mean, that's what happened. That was back in my TV
She's
days.
got a toy deep in Monica's cords. That's what you can't see.
Just don't eat the cord, Nala.
And this woman is juggling things. She's making it look seamless.
So let's give a shout out to everybody. Kathleen says she's looking forward to the Yuppie Puppy Gala. Absolutely. All right, hang on. I got to throw a toy door. We've got Jenny. This is so good and makes so much sense right now. C.
Great.
Luth is a patient of yours?
Yes.
And so what's the first name? Oh, never mind. You can't.
Although she's admitting it.
Yeah. Okay.
Online,
Good
but-
morning, Dr. Alethea and Monica. She was like, wait, HIPAA, Monica. I can't go there. Tony, you are awesome. Kathleen says, good morning, Julie. Let's go Blues. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Julie. Sean, Luann, Hannah. Thank you for moderating at home. Let me pop over to Instagram real quick and make sure that nobody over there is asking questions. You can, though. We will look at all of our platforms. So you can tell your family and friends, like it says on the bottom, to share, like, follow on Instagram, on YouTube, on X, on Rumble, and on Facebook. So we've been talking about so many levels of that balance in life, the whole body. So I showed a couple slides before we went into the commercial break. And again, shout out to your team for putting this really awesome video together. But it goes back and forth between feeling, I mean, literally, like I said earlier, on fire. Boy, I'm ready to take on the world and I am at the top of my game. Then you got somebody else on the other side, like, well, I wish I could feel like that. I'm over here with illness. Mm-hmm. But in life, so many people live a lot of times in the middle. They're back and forth. And then I love this part of the slide that they take everything. Look, you can see a tea bag. You've got, different types of supplementation and medicine. So how do we, on a regular basis, stay more to the left side of this wellness?
Right. That I call it the world of remedies.
Yes.
Right. Where some of my patients come in thinking they're a little healthier than they are. And when I ask them for that supplement list, woo, it is long.
Very
right?
long,
So,
right?
I look at those as crutches. They're really holding themselves up. And without all those crutches, they're really not feeling that great. Mm-hmm. So there are things that increase physical resilience. Mm-hmm. Certainly in my practice, what I'm doing is I'm utilizing comprehensive functional medicine labs and I'm making a personalized lifestyle medicine plan. Mm-hmm. So that means you're not going to the grocery store and just picking supplements off or just reading a blip on something and picking supplements, but they're personalized for what's happening at your cellular level. So what happens from that is we increase physical capacity. And then healing naturally takes place. There are so many things that increase physical capacity. I get to do this in this very fine-tuned way in my practice because of my skill set. Exercise increases capacity so much. Eating nourishing foods increases capacity so much. Pulling out foods that create inflammation and create catabolic effects in your body and deteriorate your intestinal lining, right? There are things like getting in community. There's so much research coming out right now about the healing effects and our physical resilience that comes from having a tribe and community. And in our world, we're settling for really cheap forms of community, which don't always have authenticity. They don't always have vulnerability. We get to hand select and curate what people see and what they don't see. Sure. And so that is just one of the most important parts. I love that about when in your other line of work that you create all of those things. You're doing nutrition talk and you're increasing physical resilience with strength training, and you've established this amazing community.
Well, you talk about tribe, and I've got a dear friend that's been on the show in the past, and it's all about your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And we want people to thrive on a regular basis. I mean, ultimately, isn't that the case with all of you? Feel free to drop in any comments. Don't you want to be there? But are you at home saying, I will settle for this life? And I think that's all I need. We've done a really powerful show in the past. Let's talk about women and men. Now, you both need to understand this. We did a really powerful show that I still get stopped on the streets talking about hormones. You've got something on your website talking about a quiz that people can take, right? Yes. Tell us some more about that.
It helps to isolate which hormones are out of balance. Oftentimes when we only have the conversation of hormones, the sex hormones get all the attention. However, I look at the sex hormones as kind of being after effects or minors as compared to the big hormone systems in the body. And the big hormone systems in the body are insulin, which is how are you handling blood sugar? So what does this do? This takes us back to the food conversation, right? The other two big hormone systems are thyroid, which I look at as the master of your metabolism. Man, oh man, there's a big difference. When you look at that spectrum of health all the way to disease, in Western medicine, they are only looking for thyroid disease. And suboptimal thyroid is a big player in why people are not achieving the metabolism, the energy, and the hormone resilience that they deserve. It's just getting missed because we're looking for disease and not optimal. And then the third hormone system is your cortisol system. So think of that as the hormone of your stress response.
Absolutely.
So in our current culture, we know that stress is a leading cause of this downward spiral to so many other things. And we tend to treat stress solely with this, or not solely, but this over focus on brain chemistry, which is such an important part. There's also other components, and cortisol is a big player of this, because you're just not going to feel like you can adapt and be resilient to life unless you have ample cortisol response throughout your day, that you're having this appropriate response.
We're literally going to take it from stress. And so you're looking at, and this is part of this wonderful video that Dr. Alethea has on her website, but the overlapping aspect of mind, body, emotions, you right there in the middle of all of them. How do we go from stressors in life to thriving in life? And a lot of it is that you've got to continue to be your advocate. I mentioned being your advocate and saying, okay, this person's telling me that I'm fine. I know I'm not fine. Thank you, Dr. Alethea and Monica, for telling me to keep seeking it out. Look for a practitioner that is going to listen to you, first of all. I'm very big on focusing and having that connection. You want to literally, I mean, I have chills of what she and I are creating here for you today, and I hope you do as well. But it is from head to toe saying, that's me. Alethea is talking about me. That's how I feel. And so many times depression sets in because, right, they come home, whether it's a man, a woman, a child, senior, whoever, what age, that's saying, I knew something was wrong with me all along. And all you're wanting is the solution so that you can start feeling better again.
Right. And it is depressing to feel tired all the time and have pain all the time. You feel very trapped in your body. You feel trapped in a survival state. One of the other big components to the stress response is the nervous system. And we haven't really spoken on that, but that is really one of the key differences between if your body right now is perceiving that you're in overwhelming survival versus I'm okay. I'm okay. This is more of a neurological state. And one of my favorite things to do that everyone can do today is diaphragmatic breathing. That's the fancy words for belly breathing.
Right here.
Right. So your
not here.
Right, your diaphragm, which is going to be well in use when you're using a belly breath. That diaphragm is controlled by your parasympathetic nervous system, which puts you in your calm, relaxed state. You cannot be in stress and thrival. You can't be in both survival and thrival, right? These are either or systems. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you do 3 minutes of a breath practice where you extend your belly, and I always encourage people to open their heart space too, and that's more of a bioenergetic component. So we're getting at that first phase. Can I open my heart? Can I be receptive to this thing that is happening that I don't really love? Can I keep my heart space open? Can I diaphragmatic breathe and communicate to my nervous system, I'm okay? And then release it all. Try to keep your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale, and we get more vagal tone like that.
Well, you have to believe it too, right? What are you telling yourself in your inhalation, your exhalation? Are you believing what you're trying to calm yourself? We talk about meditation, we talk about breathing, we talk about nutrition, we talk about movement, all of these things. I know you might hear all that going, do I have to do all of it? But have to, I get to, is how I transfer it. You get to do these things because you have oxygen in your lungs for another day here on earth. Believe that you have purpose. See that clarity, that vision. I'm very big when we do our life coaching classes on visualization, right? Vision boards of where do you want your life to go? Can you tell them, and maybe we even do it right now together, from a breathing standpoint, when we are inhaling, how long do you like them? And a lot of times, if you've got someone who's really stressed, they're like, I can't even take it in.
I'm happy to show you my breath wave. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Let's do
Thank you for asking. Okay, so place one hand on your heart.
Doesn't matter which.
And place one hand on your belly. And first, just notice as you breathe, is your belly even rising? So most of us aren't even breathing with our diaphragm. We may be breathing with our chest, which actually keeps our nervous system in a heightened state of stress.
Mine's going in and out.
That's wonderful.
Yay, Monica's practicing.
All right. So as you inhale, I want you to even push your hand out at your belly, right? That your stomach is actually pushing your hand outward. And let's inhale for 4. Okay. So inhale with your stomach coming out, 2, 3. And at 4, your heart space should be really open too. And let's exhale, 2, 3, 4. Stomach comes in and chest releases all the air. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. That stomach should be maxed out. Exhale, 2, 3. Stomach coming in. 5, 6.
Are you all doing this with us at home?
Wonderful. So open heart, full belly. And one of the things I like to have dialogue, because if I'm engaging this breath work personally, if I'm using this breath work, it means that something is happening that I don't like. Right. That my body is actually saying, I don't want this to occur. And energetically, that's called resistance. That's energetic resistance. It feels like this. I'm pushing this experience away. No, not like this. I don't want it to go like this. I want it to go like this, is what my nervous system is saying. So what I'm asking my body to do is to rewire a pattern that my nervous system is currently saying, this is a threat to me. This is a threat. And what I'm doing is I'm rewiring. I'm going in and I'm rewiring a trauma response, essentially. And I'm telling my body, hey, I don't like how this feels. And this isn't how I would like it to go. So I validate my experience, but I'm here for it and I'm safe. And this can go through me.
Isn't that a big word for all of you? You just want to feel safe. You want to feel, we talked about tribe earlier, you want to feel like you belong. You can feel that negativity if you really have awareness in life. The negativity that exists when you walk in a room, when you're around people that you just feel like you're like this constantly with. You know, we think about the holidays coming up, Alethea, and I always talk with a lot of people that say, oh, I'm going to see this cousin or this uncle or that aunt or this person that I have to be around. And I'm like, well, if you absolutely have to be in that room and you can't go elsewhere, you have to protect yourself. I want to talk about that though, because people don't understand, well, how do I protect myself from what's sitting there? We're going to hang on to that. We're going to do that when we come back. I know, right? I want to go there, Monica. So we're also going to look at some of your comments and questions that you have out there. We are getting you to be the best version of you. And I've got some really cool slides about things I want you to think about, some quotes that Dr. Alethea has affiliated with her practice. Isn't she great? We told you we were going to have some really aha moments today. You know, on this show, we go from shows of hope to laughter. That's the whole balance of where we go in the ebb and flow of life. So if you're new to the show, this is what it's all about. He wants to say, I can't believe I took your son's life. I don't know what I was thinking. I have so much regret and remorse. I've changed my life. Would you accept that apology?
I've never thought of that. Yeah, I would.
Do you think, because you talk about forgiveness, do you think that you all can ever forgive one another and come back together?
You know, it wasn't just right. I'm not perfect. Just because my name is Bush, I don't have it all figured out, and I think they know that too.
I was cyclically depressed, so I could be the happiest person you ever met at 11 a.m. I could be on cloud 9, and by 7 p.m. that evening, I'd be sitting on a couch with a gun in my hands. I mean, hard not to get emotional. I
never feel sorry for being emotional.
I really, I was at a space to where I couldn't believe that I had brought my children into this.
Where's the light? Because many of you probably feel that there's this darkness and there's this thunder cloud that's constantly over you. This family has dealt with so much.
So our journey is our journey. There has to be purpose in this pain. There has to be something more powerful. I have to find something to be blessed about every day. I have to count my blessings and have gratitude every single day.
Everyone knows about Jody's balls, and why is that?
I have the best ball.
Oh, wait. That's it. We've got heartbreaking stories to fun stories, and all of this over the last year and a half couldn't happen without all of you showing up, really showing up and being present every day, sharing the love and the light and the positivity and the hope and the inspiration of this show. And then all these wonderful sponsors that come on, and we want to thank each and every one of them for being a part of our show. This is Just Pools, the pool and spa specialists. They are located on the West Outer Road in Arnold. We absolutely love Madonna and the staff. Now, I know the weather's turning colder. We're talking about freeze warnings already this week. So if you have not closed your pool yet, the 10% off of those winterizing kits still exist right now for you, and 50% off of all the fun toys. I told you, stock up. Get all those little flotation devices, the noodles, etc., for you and the kiddos for next year. And then why don't you make transition for what's coming, which is those hot tubs and the spas. You've always wanted one. Don't look at it as a luxury. There's a huge therapeutic side to spas, and I want you to make sure that you support those that support us. Just Pools, the pool and spa specialist, again, located on the West Outer Road in Arnold. Welcome back, 7:51. Dr. Alethea Eller is my guest. Go online. You can find out more about her at dralethea.com. Let me put it up on the screen so you know how to spell Alethea and how to take some of the quizzes that we've talked about and say, wow, everything they're talking about today is my time. And Dr. Alethea and I both believe that when it is your time, that's when you make the call. Jenny said I already took all of her tests and sent a message for an appointment.
Right.
There you
That's
go.
great, Jenny. I can't wait to meet you.
Richard, rewiring your nervous system. I have heard about this and have used it before.
Great.
Richard, I love it. Thank you for being open to that. Carrie said, I deal with depression, but found out when dealing with it, sometimes it's my Graves' disease. Other times it's depression. I found tools to come and work through when it is affecting
And
me.
that's that thyroid undertone. So when thyroid is suboptimal, depression and anxiety is actually a very, very common symptom of that.
And she just said tools. There's the tools. There's a part of that video where you say, okay, I'm going to try to give you these tools to wellness. As we are talking about this, we want to find calmness and peace. We've got flowers and plants and things that are alive, right? Think about the colors that you are around, the music you listen to. Maybe you listen to shows like this. Hopefully you do, to bring you to that state of calmness. Richard said, depression still haunts me. It's a struggle that I always am dealing with. Carrie mentioned what we said earlier, your tribe. Community is so important. The community you pick cheers you on, you hope, right? They encourage you and when needed, lift you up. I am thankful for Monica Maniacs and our community. Well, I'm thankful that you show up every day and want this. Good morning. I've been watching but was driving. This has been very informative. Richard said it was a great chart that we showed earlier. I also mentioned that we were going to show some inspirational slides. So look at this. Be still, feel it, face it, focus on the experience you do want, and then take action. Talk about that, what that means to you.
Right. I think that this is also tapping into the work of the vision boards that you utilize. So it's so important to witness the current experience that is struggling in your body. And without that component, we're really just doing a nice version of suppression in the body. And so what we want to do is when our body is struggling with something, can we sit with it? Can we witness? Yes, I'm feeling a ton of disappointment right now. And see if you can identify where it is in your body. So I'm feeling a lot of disappointment. Oh, it's deep in my chest. I can feel that. Can I witness that? Can I do that? Can I breathe in that moment? And then can I actively choose, well, what experience do I actively want to co-create for myself, right? I understand that there's disappointment here, but can I have an eye on, and I'm also grateful for this. And I'm also wanting to have peace in this relationship, right? So what we focus on really, really matters. And that's why I love the vision board, because our attention is kind of like, I don't know, have you ever noticed this on Facebook or Instagram that maybe you get caught in watching things that you didn't really want, and then there's a ton more of it in your feed.
Yes, you get sucked into it.
Right? So our brains actually there's a part of our brain, the reticular activating system, that does this. It's always filtering out information. But the more we're letting something in, the more our brain is actively seeking more of it. It's much like if you were to go get this beautiful new blue car and you're like, I love this color, it's so unique. And then you get out on the road and then you're like, oh, there's
why am I seeing so many blue cars
because
everywhere?
your brain is now looking for it. Okay. So we have to be careful what we intentionally tell our brain to look for, because it's going to find it. There is self-fulfilling prophecy when it comes to our brain. And so we want to be careful with that. If we say, oh, I would love to do functional medicine, but it'll never work for me. Well,
that last part.
Okay.
Right. Well, it's the same thing.
Then so it will be. So be careful what you claim and what you put out there for yourself.
You just made me think of a whole other show that I would like to do that is going to take this to another level for someone who's never introduced themselves to this. It is thanking even horrific things that happen in your life and the lessons that we've taken from that, and then throwing it back to the universe and saying, thank you. Thank you. People say, thank you for this that went wrong. Thank you for this depression that came on to me. Thank you for this person that treated me this way. That's a show we're not going to do today because we don't have time to dig into it, but I would like to.
Oh, I would love to.
Oh,
and you have to look with that. There's that whole emotions are all measured frequencies, and gratitude is one of the highest measurable frequencies that we can hold in our body. It's right up there by unconditional love. So if we can get ourselves into a gratitude space about something, we can help perpetuate miracles in our body. It doesn't mean that, oh, I would have actively have chosen this for myself. I would have orchestrated it like this.
No,
but
no one would.
Right.
But it's what we do with. I just love this dog. You all have to see who I'm playing with if you tuned in late. Nala, do you love your mama?
She's a therapeutic dog with no credentials.
Well,
okay, you can probably tell. There's no
but look what they provide to us, right? Oh, she's a lover. So we are talking about, again, happiness and tribe. Here we go. Here's another one I liked. The body expresses what the mind suppresses.
True. If we hold an emotion, if we won't witness it, if we won't allow ourselves to feel the disappointment, we will end up having symptoms in that space in our body. And this is the importance of clearing out the memory of stress in our body, that somatic component of care.
And then this one, in your body, what you resist, no matter how much you're thinking, no, I don't want this, but you're talking about it nonstop. And so God, the universe, anybody around you is like, well, all I ever hear is you talking about all the negative things are happening and you're focusing on
What are you focusing on?
Yes.
The thing you don't want. That happens a lot with relationships and health issues. We end up focusing on the things we don't like about our body, about our health, about a certain relationship. So we talk about it and we fuel it with our emotion. Now we want to witness it. We want to validate this is a real experience for us. And then let me focus on what I want to actively co-create for myself.
And did you hear the word "and"? This is something we learned a lot when we were first studying in broadcasting. They said, start replacing the word "but" with the word "and." Yes. That's really powerful. I love the one that we were just sitting on, and let's go back to that. So negative motivators, and she capitalized, always backfire, right? Instead of fear or shame, try giving yourself permission to enjoy. Everybody wants permission in life.
Just like we talked about gratitude being one of the highest frequencies that we can hold in our body, shame is one of the lowest frequencies.
Yes.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create transformational shifts in our body using one of the lowest frequencies that in our body that we can hold with shame. Shame begets addiction spirals for this reason. If you have a binging with food, if this is a pattern for you, what typically perpetuates the next binge is the shame about the last binge. So if we can get to a space of neutrality, gratitude is great. However, most of us, if we can just get to a space of neutrality of, I understand why I did that, and I have compassion for myself, then we break that cycle.
And you saw the body there, and it's literally one of the things that I showed earlier was that the body whispers before it screams. You all heard me tell the story about walking away from television and how I heard whispers 10 years ago. Then I kind of got a slap. Actually, it was more of a tap like, did you hear me? Then it became like a slap, and then it became a gut punch of, hello, go do this, right?
Ow. But it doesn't have to be an ow.
It doesn't. But we also believe it's timing. I believe it was the world ready for a show like this. The world and myself ready for this. You look at this, listen up, right? Caution, all these things that are happening to us that many times people dismiss. If they really sit down and focus and calm themselves and find the clarity, and there's not all the chaos going around, you'll come back. If you journal, like I ask a lot of you to do, if you journal, you'll go back and read those words and get the catching of, this is where it was trying to happen in my life. This is where it came back a little bit, and then this is where it took hold, and when it was my time to do so, right? Have any of you gotten chills today, or multiple chills? Have you gotten the aha moment that this is what you're wanting? Yes, I hope so. So many levels of things that all of you are struggling with, and we want you to break through. Richard says, attitude is everything. I was complaining to my wife that I only got 6 months of being pain-free. The next morning, I woke up and told her how lucky I was to have 6 months of pain-free. It's all about how you look at the situation. I'm not only 6 months of pain-free, I'm grateful I got the 6 months of pain-free. And Ann says, love the show. Love your fur baby. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks,
yes, I want to go back to the breathing aspect before we have to wrap up. So when people are sitting and finding that calmness in themselves and doing the deep belly breathing, do you have them think of a word or a phrase or a thought process of taking in and bringing more to their life of intention and the gratitude of it, and then when they exhale, letting go of what's not serving them?
So for the most part, I want people more in their body and less out of their head. Okay. Most of our patterns are held in the subconscious, which means we're going to have access to them in being present to how our body feels and less cognitive. So I recommend the exercise be done 3 minutes a day, and you will make dramatic changes in your neuro capacity for holding stress. You can also do it in the moment, where somebody is triggering you, a situation is triggering you, great, because you can't be in fight or flight and in your healing and repair system at the same time. So do it right there. Rewire the stress response right there. So what was the question?
So when they are taking focus. There's a lot going on with the dog. No, when we're breathing, do you recommend, but you did just kind of answer it. You did just say, and maybe get out of your head and just focus on the breathing. I've had a lot of people practicing that, and maybe it's the next level of it.
Sure.
Of taking in more of what we want, letting go of less that serves
I do
us.
like, for people that resonate with a little bit more conscious dialogue, validating, I don't like this. I don't like this. This isn't how I would want it. But I'm open to just, this is what is right now. Yeah. This is what is, and I don't have to resist that this is just what is in my life right now. I am safe, and I can let this flow through me. Yeah. So those are great ways that we can use conscious reprogramming with the neuro work.
And it's a big thing. You know, she mentioned something very powerful, which is whatever's not serving you, you can't stay in that space and then try to do this because maybe the trigger, the person, the situation is setting you off. I always say, move, take your space, move it, and go take your 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever you can do. Come back. People will see a change in you, a shift. I like the word that better, a shifting pattern in you of, I don't know what they just did, but they just seem calmer. Because if you just stay in it and you're attacking to the person who's attacking you or the situation or whatever you're hearing, it's never going to work. You're just having chaos meeting chaos. Kathleen said, this has been a great show. I have been looking for a functional medicine person.
Oh,
my daughter goes to a functional medicine person in Arizona with great results.
Yeah. Everyone needs a functional medicine practitioner.
Jenny, this is our best show ever. LOL. Love all the knowledge and truth around this situation when it normally feels like you're so alone when struggling with this. Normal primary doctors do not care about this and can't help you. I don't want to say they don't care. They do. Yeah, it's what they know, right? And it's where they are. But I will tell you this. One of the reasons I believe I didn't continue my practice in going into medicine was I either believed that I was going to be one of the very first to bring both into my practice, or I was going to leave it because this was where the draw was coming from.
And there are so many practitioners that want the best for patients. Yes. There is an insurance industry puppeteering what doctors can and cannot do with their patients. And that is one of the very unfortunate things about transformational healthcare is it's not oftentimes insurance supported.
Correct. And you've heard some very high level traditional medicine doctors on this show, and I really appreciate that he did this, say this is where the problem lies. It is this whole thing with the government. It's the whole thing of turn the patient, turn the patient, turn the patient. And it gets to a point where I feel bad for them because they're not taking care of their own health.
It's one of the reasons I had to leave the industry. I was getting out of integrity with how I wanted to serve my patients. And ultimately, that's why I do what I do.
So Kathleen said, I love looking for the root cause, not just another drug to treat symptoms. We mentioned earlier, and actually this kind of mirrors on a past guest that we have, talk about your supplementations, because I believe that it is something similar to what we've had on in the past.
Yes, I believe, because I know who you interviewed.
Yes. She knows, she's like, oh, you had this person on, this person on. Yeah.
Small world.
So if someone's looking from a supplementation standpoint, you would guide them, and this is what you need.
Right. And for the care that I do here, which is personalized lifestyle medicine, I am looking to drive not just symptomatic changes, but objective lab changes.
Right.
So if we find something on your labs, that means within 3 months, we're running new labs to assess if our plan is successful for you. Not just do you feel better. Of course I want people to feel better. I also want cellular level change. And because of that, I use nutraceuticals. So nutraceuticals hold themselves to the standards of testing that the pharmaceutical industry does. That is far and above over what you find on the counter. Not to say that you can't find some great products over the counter. You can, but you have to be a very, very wise consumer, because when you purchase things over the counter, they don't have to tell you where they're sourcing their product. The products we use almost source out of European standards because the standards there are so much higher. Some of the things you get here have a lot of contaminants in them because of how they're sourcing it. They're getting cheap raw materials. That doesn't have to be on the label. So you have to be a very, very smart consumer. And again, I'm doing this in a clinical therapeutic setting. So I have to know that what I'm using, I can count on it. And it's not a product issue if I'm not getting the results I want by 3 months.
All right, everyone. So think about where you are in your life right now and how you're wanting to shift your patterns. Again, are you going to a doctor and they're saying, nope, tests are normal, everything we've done, we're going to put you on all these medicines, and one medicine is trying to get rid of the next problem, or you give this laundry list of supplements and she's like, whoa, do you even know what this one does? Or somebody telling you to take this, or your late night, something shows up on TV and you buy that next one. Am I talking to you folks? Is that you? Can you make some changes? Again, healthier eating, trying to get to the better balance. Are you looking at disease in the body and it's all these things on the right side of that scale, and then boom, medicine to try to take care of it? Or are you really truly saying, it's my time to shift? I don't want to get into the hospital and have isolation and look for the disease treatment. All of you that are saying, yes, this is the aha moment that Dr. Alethea and Monica are talking about, which is the root cause of it. You and I could go on for the next 10, 12, 24 hours and just keep talking. So
who's game?
Right? Let's go.
Here's the thing. It's never too late to use personalized lifestyle medicine and to clean up your stress response, like to clean out the closets on your stress response. And it's never too early either. And that's what I love about this style of care. You can come in very, very proactive because you want the best life possible. And you can also maximize the life you have by getting more in the game and getting more active with your care.
Well, and can we say this? You mentioned the word shame. At the end of every show when I'm on set, I usually do these 100 Days to Freedom from books. What? It's just Tia. 100 Days to Freedom from Shame, Depression, Anger, Overeating, Fear, and Anxiety. It's really us taking every day, giving you another day to the freedom of what has held you back. Finding the time to focus on you is something that is paramount. I mention it all the time. You cannot take care of all the people around you, mothers, fathers, kids, parents. Think about being a caregiver and how stressed out that can be. It's a job that you didn't expect to have, but you have to do it for a kid or for a parent or for your spouse or partner, whoever it may be, unless you are taking care of you. Is the time now? The answer is yes. So one more time, let me put this back on the screen for you. If you are looking to find out more about the wonderful work that Dr. Alethea does, go to her website, dralethea.com. there's the email, hello@dralethea.com. And hello, I love that. Hello, it's your time. Let's go.
Let's talk. Monica, before you close, I just want to thank you so much for sharing your heart. One of the things I noticed about Monica when I met her is that this is a genuine heart to serve people and raise up your community. And you're doing it in a beautiful way. You have a lovely platform. And I appreciate you inviting me to your platform today. And to all your people, thank you.
Absolutely. We have to thank Janice again and Todd for going the wrong way. If you didn't hear
Todd, almost hitting me, but I was muttering.
But she had awareness, and she was like, who's this crazy guy? If you didn't hear that story, you got to go back and watch that. Anybody, if you have a continuation that you would love for her and I to do, I told her I really would love to look at a collaboration, because I think there's a lot that we could bring to you moving forward. The biggest thing that I want is that this gets not only absorbed by you, but then shared, as you've been seeing on the bottom, to share and like and follow each and every day. We are on Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. on multiple platforms. You're actually going to love the guest that I have tomorrow, one of which I met, and it was her time. She said that when I showed up at this retreat, she knew right away very powerfully that I was the person that she was there to meet. I saw her walk in the door and thought, it's her. I was wondering why I was able to cancel a lot of the appointments and things that I had to be able to join a friend of mine on that day, or I should say that weekend, for the retreat. And there were so many people I wanted to connect with, but this is a complete stranger to me. And I felt the energy of, we're going to connect. I've asked her to come on the show tomorrow because she believed in herself while others didn't. She has a position in some of the traditional medicine of life, still doing that, but she felt such a calling for health coaching. And I said, well, then do it. And she's like, you believe in me? And I said, I do believe in you. Whether others do or don't, doesn't matter. You believe in yourself? I'm a complete stranger to you. And I love the fact that I'm becoming a friend of yours. But if you want to go take this leap, then let's do it. But also be smart. So she's keeping the business side, but then walking this path of what she wants. So her name is Lindsay Egan. I met her. Do you know Lindsay?
Yes.
Oh, how funny.
Lindsay and I love each other.
Crazy.
As you started talking, I was thinking, oh, that sounds a lot like Lindsay.
It is Lindsay.
Okay, Lindsay, I'm passing the mic. It's you tomorrow.
Yes. Lindsay is coming on tomorrow with Christy, and I don't know how to pronounce Christy's name properly. Kuyev, maybe. So Christy and Lindsay are going to bring you this continuation of healing. So
Lovely.
Don't you love that Lindsay finally walked the path?
I love it. Yes.
You're going to fight.
She has been embodying it, and it's authentically her since I've known her.
Interesting.
It's beautiful.
Wait till you have. So they're going to be on set with us tomorrow in studio. And then I always ask you, are there topics, are there guests that you would like to see on the show? Do you know someone that you want to be a part of our sponsorship or to book a mobile Monica? Have you seen those mobile Monicas, by the way? We're going to wrap up the show, but show you yet another thing that we can do from your business when we return. We are live on location, and this is the really cool thing. This is exactly what we can do from your business. We call it Mobile Monica. You know, I'm always on the move. Everyone knows about Jody's balls, and why is that?
I have the best ball.
Oh my God. You enjoying this?
Always.
Watch this, I gotta move with her.
Orange Theory is created to help people live a more vibrant life.
When we tell you that they have some of the most beautiful sunsets, we mean it. We're now in the brainchild of Adventure Unknown. That thing
Well, he's got a heck of a
beautiful.
story behind that leopard,
I know.
It's going to be a very dangerous shoot, Diana.
It'll be
She says it
fabulous.
is. Monica or Mez Adams. How's that
Yes,
sound?
that sounds great.
This is Marianne Graff, owner of Just Be Kind Coffee House and Cafe. And you can see all the people in line. Oh, that handsome gentleman is... That would be my husband, Jim.
My mission statement says I want people to feel better leaving than when they came in.
And you do. Again, no calories when you're spreading kindness.
No calories when you're spreading kindness, especially if it's on the weekend.
And that was Patrick, by the way, and you saw Marianne before. Again, congratulations to the happy couple. They were married on Saturday, so it's now Patrick and Marianne Clark, the owners of Just Be Kind Cafe. What a perfect place for us to celebrate our 300th show, 100 shows ago, and then Circle 6 had us just a week ago for our 400th show. And now where's 500 going to be? This is a decision that needs to be made quickly because we have a lot of really big things to plan. And it's usually about every 5 months that we have another 100 shows. So we're looking at probably March, the change of springtime coming. Let's celebrate spring. Let's celebrate an awakening. And let's celebrate 500 together. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Alethea Eller, dralethea.com. And to each and every one of you, thank you for being a part of the show. When you watch it later, just do a hashtag replay. If you have any questions for her or myself, drop those in and we'll be sure to have them for you. Again, we say this all the time. So much happiness exists in this world. You have to believe that. And if you are in a state that's not serving you right now, I want you to start making those pattern changes, whatever it may be. Don't overwhelm yourself with trying to do all of it at once, just like taking the foods out and reintroducing. Some of those things that don't serve you may never ever be reintroduced, and that's probably a good thing for you. Start to look at who you're surrounding yourself with. Start thinking about the job you have, the people you hang around, all these things that may not be taking you to the best place for your life. But one of the things I always ask you to do, though, also is to believe in yourself and surround yourself with people who believe in you. Go out, enjoy life, find the positivity that exists in the world. And one of the greatest things that you can do that we ask of each and every one of you is to be kind. God bless you all. Have a great day.